Time for a little lesson in flight.
Tommy back.
Yeah, I am.
Power Book 4 Force is coming back with its third and final season to turn Chicago upside down. And this time, things are about to get more serious than ever. With countless enemies, backstabbing friends, and family showing up in the darkest hour, we're diving straight into the action from the very first episode. And I'll be telling you everything you need to know. Buckle up, because this time, Tommy really is canceling Christmas. The first episode of Season 3 will pick up right after the Season 2 finale. As you know, Miguel kidnapped his own sister just because of his hatred toward Tommy, and when he told Tommy about it, he looked downright evil. Meanwhile, Tommy had been dreaming of going to Barcelona with his girlfriend, but the moment he heard the news, we saw him angrier than ever before. And when Tommy gets that mad, we know exactly what happens, right? Of course, he's going to storm Miguel's spot to rescue Mireia without any planning at all. In this part, we might get one of the biggest action scenes we've ever seen, because Miguel knows Tommy is coming and will be ready. But no matter how prepared Miguel is, there's no way he can escape Tommy. As we saw in the Season 3 teaser, Mireia was pointing a gun at someone inside Miguel's place, and Miguel himself was being strangled by somebody. In that scene, Tommy is going to beat Miguel badly and then leave it up to Mireia to finish the job. But no matter what, Mireia won't be able to kill her brother. Instead, she'll threaten him to never cross their paths again and walk away with Tommy. After that defeat, Miguel will start plotting revenge against Tommy, while Tommy will be forced to deal with completely different problems. And the biggest of those problems is definitely King Kilo. In his prison meeting with Gennard, he swore he'd take CBI down as soon as he got out, to avenge his nephew. Gennard told him that the real culprit was D-Mac. That's why, with only a few days left in his sentence, King Kilo will come straight for D-Mac the moment he's released. After hearing this from Gennard, D-Mac, as we saw in the teaser, will grab his gun and wait for King Kilo. At this point, I think D-Mac is also going to ask his uncle Tommy for help. Even though Tommy is furious with him, this time he'll still be there to back him up. Once King Kilo sees Tommy, he'll probably realize it's better to wait for another chance, and D-Mac will escape for now. By the way, the actor who plays King Kilo, Big Baby Glenn Davis, actually went to prison in real life. But since this happened after filming Wrapped for Season 3, we'll still see King Kilo in the show. Back to the story. You're already thinking all these enemies are too much, right? Well, I've got bad news, because there are even more coming. One of them is definitely Vic. In the Season 2 finale, Tommy realized Vic had been a rat for the FBI, and while he was on his way to handle Vic, he got the news that Miguel had kidnapped Mireia. But after saving Mireia and D-Mac, nothing will stop Tommy from cutting Vic's ticket. In the Season 3 teaser, we saw Vic being drowned by someone, and it's clear that the person doing it is either Tommy or Diamond. If they only drown him to send a warning and let him live, I believe Vic will return with the FBI to cause more problems for Tommy and Diamond. But what do you think? Do you believe Vic is strong enough to come back as a real problem? Let me know in the comments. Speaking of Diamond, we can't skip over him. Even though in the Season 2 finale we saw his relationship with Tommy take a hit, in the first episode of Season 3, once he learns about all the enemies Tommy is dealing with, Diamond won't be able to hold back from helping his friend. That's why I believe, just like we saw in the teaser, Diamond and Tommy will be storming spots and blowing up buildings all season long. Of course, for a while, they'll be joined by Gennard and Shanti, but we already know that sooner or later, those two will stab Tommy and Diamond in the back. That's why every scene with Gennard and Shanti is going to be tense as hell. And now it's time for the real surprise. Even though Diamond is a solid partner and D-Mac is an unpredictable wild card, it's almost impossible for Tommy to fight all these enemies alone. That's why, toward the end of the first episode, we'll see Tommy reaching out to a family member, and that person will be none other than Tariq, the one who, back in Power, made a promise with Tommy that no matter what they'd always call each other, and the same Tariq we saw answering that call in the Power Book 2 Ghost finale officially confirmed to be joining the show. After a day of fighting Miguel, King Kilo, and Vic, Tommy will throw himself on the couch exhausted, only to hear a knock at the door. When he opens it, he'll see Tariq standing there. And just imagine how badass it would be if Tariq looked him in the eye and said, "Whose Christmas we cancelin'?" By now fully a ghost in his own right, Tariq showing up will make Tommy proud, and the two will immediately start plotting how to take over Chicago. By the way, Tommy and Tariq will also be leading a new spin-off called Power Legacy, about their global takeover. If you want me to cover everything about that, drop a more power in the comments. All right, now we can talk about the main villain of this third and final season, the one whose Christmas Tommy and Tariq will be canceling. And that's none other than Claudia Flynn. She was the one Tommy had locked up and sent someone to stab in prison as payback for Liliana. In the final scene of episode 1, we'll see Claudia walking free, using her power to get out of prison with the excuse of her stabbing. With Mirkovich still behind bars and Claudia now the sole heir of the Flynn Empire, she'll rise as the most powerful person in Chicago, and she'll start plotting her revenge against Tommy and Shanti. At some point, we might even see Claudia forcing Miguel or King Kilo to work for her, or taking over Mirkovich's Serbian mafia. Do you also think Claudia is the right choice to be the main villain, like I do? Let me know in the comments while I tell you when we'll finally get to see this epic final season and what to expect from the trailer. Power Book 4 Force Season 3, the final season, will consist of 10 action-packed episodes and will be with us on November 7th. In the trailer, I expect to see the action sequence of Miguel and Tommy clashing over and over again, King Kilo's release from prison, Vic struggling to escape from Tommy and Diamond, the sinister looks of Shanti and Jannard, Claudia reclaiming her boss seat, and finally Tariq appearing at Tommy's door. So, what are your expectations for the final season and first episode of Power Book 4 Force? Write your theories in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more from the Power universe. Meanwhile, the video on the screen might also interest you.